Hello everybody, San here, engineer, MBA, an investor, and in today's video, I want to take a look at this article that was published a few days ago on MIT Technology Review. Of course, this is one of the most known publishers in the biotech space, specifically being because it is related and affiliated with, of course, the legendary MIT institution. So, this article here starts with this title. Forget designer babies, here's how CRISPR is really changing life. The genome editing tool is being tested in people, and the first treatment could be approved this year. And this is an article from Antonio Regalado on March 7th, just like I mentioned a few days ago. And I think a lot of people will recognize this article because it's been published on Twitter, on Reddit, even on LinkedIn. I've seen a couple of posts on LinkedIn for this article. So I think it's worth diving into today's Sunday video. Hopefully you guys are having a beautiful Sunday. So, of course, the article talks about, forget about that Chinese scientist with the genome editing babies. And I think the reason why this is important often is because people get lost in the negatives, right? This is not just in biotech. This is across all verticals. As humans, we are there's actually a fallacy for this. Is like, I think in the gambling world, like, if you let's say you have like 80% chance of winning $100, but you have 20% chance of losing $100. It's just because how we're wired, how humans are, how our logical common sense thinking is. And of course, this goes well beyond that. We would actually favor the scenario where we have 20% chance of losing $100. So what's going to happen is we're not going to take that chance, or we're not going to gamble in that sphere. And I think a lot of people get lost in this, right? A lot of people get lost in that type of negativities. And that's across all verticals, like I said, biotech, politics, technology. You talk about your personal life, just think about your personal life, guys. If you know you have more chance, or at least a slight chance, of losing something, you're never going to do that thing, right? And that's why we often tell entrepreneurs and so on to take risks, because people are sort of risk adverse, right? So that's the word, right? Risk averse. So, of course, they're talking about Victoria Gray, which obviously was the first patient that was really known to be cured for sickle cell disease. This is part of the Vertex and Crispr Therapeutics program. And of course, she came about in a presentation at the third International Summit on the human and genome editing. It's a big genome editing event. It's not just for CRISPR. There's a bunch of tools in the genome editing, but of course, CRISPR is the most popular one, and it's what we cover here. And we take a look at there's more than 50 experimental studies on the way to use genome editing. Human volunteers. I wouldn't say they're human just volunteers. They're actual patients. But anyways. Okay, so CRISPR 1.0, which is what Gray sort of went through. And I actually agree with this under the premise that I think CRISPR 2.0 comes in as CTX001 gets approved. Don't be mistaken. True 2.0 is not like prime editing and base editing. And I'm not talking about that. In my opinion, my strong opinion covering this space, CRISPR 1.0 is up to whatever we've done to date. Because don't forget, there is no FDA-approved therapy when it comes to CRISPR. So the moment CRISPR Therapeutics potentially gets FDA approved for CTX001 or Hexacell, in my opinion, we're shifting towards CRISPR 2.0. And I think they may mention of CRISPR 2.0 later in this article. So Vertex says it treated more than 75 patients. I love how they keep talking about Vertex. I mean, it makes sense because Vertex owns 60% of the program, so it makes sense to mention Vertex more than CRISPR Therapeutics, but, let's not forget that CRISPR Therapeutics is really the driver here, considering it is using CRISPR-Cas9, which is not from Vertex. Obviously, they own it now, 60% of the program, but you guys get my gist, right? Along with Vertex, a wave of biotech companies, Intellia, Beam Therapeutics, and Editas. I would not put Editas in this sentence, but many of them are running trials on the Lewis list. Not all trials will be successful. That's the whole point of trials. GraphaBio had to stop its own test of genome editing after its first patient blood cells count dropped dangerously. I mean, yeah. Again, focusing on the negatives, but that's fine. Of course, we see Victoria Gray here. It's an amazing story, Victoria Gray. I think she's gonna be like that person that a lot of people are gonna be referencing as we move towards this CRISPR 2.0 point, right? So this is what CRISPR 2.0 is talking about. But before we do that, Bluebird here was pulled out of the European market after governments that refused to pay $1 million. That's interesting. I didn't even know that. Actually didn't know the Bluebird got refused from the European markets. Interesting. I mean, look, Bluebird is not using CRISPR. They're not a one-time treatment as CRISPR is in the sickle cell disease space. So it's not a one-to-one comparison. But man, that's not a good sign. Okay, we'll maybe keep that for a future video. Maybe something we'll keep in the back of the mind, guys. Okay, so the first generation of CRISPR treatments are limited in another way. Most tools used to damage the DNA, essentially shutting down genes. I wouldn't use the words damage, but okay. Treatments that attempt to break genes include designed to try zap HIV. Okay, so they're focusing on HIV here. Of course, cancer being 31 trials. Cancer is a big one, right? Cancer is, everyone wants to put in money to solve the cancer problem in America, in Canada, in all regions around the world. So, and I truly believe this generation will solve this problem, and we have a solution with CRISPR, potentially, right? Okay. And the article goes with, mentioning Dr. Urnov, Professor Urnov. Can't go in an article without mentioning his name. I think he's really known in the space at this point. Now that genome editing has its first success, Urnov says it's an urgent need to open a path for clinical to all. Of course, this starts with CRISPR Therapeutics, with Hexacell. I just want to see how many times these guys mentioned. I don't even think they mentioned CRISPR Therapeutics once. Interesting. They kept mentioning Vertex, but they didn't mention CRISPR Therapeutics at least one. They mentioned NTLA, Beam Therapeutics, Graphite Bio, Editas. They didn't even mention CRISPR Therapeutics. Interesting. I mean, it makes sense, right? Vertex is a huge company. It's a household name. And what's the point of mentioning also the other company name if you're already mentioning one company name that majority owns the program? But at the same time, I think if you're talking about CRISPR, if you're talking about the first program to be FDA approved, potentially, I think you should probably mention the company that started it all with Vertex. But hey, who knows? But anyways, great article, guys. Really interesting article from the MIT Technology Review. I really think CRISPR 2.0 starts at the end of this quarter. I think it starts, and I think we'll see a domino effect. And I think you'll see the coverage on mainstream media. You'll see lots of articles. You'll see lots of investments. You'll see new startups. You'll see more deals with the likes of Moderna, the likes of Pfizer, the likes of Vertex, even Regeneron. All those big companies are already in the space. You'll see more of it because it makes sense, right? There's be more mainstream, and then the public's gonna ask for it, right? The European market is denying the Bluebird Bio, but are they gonna deny a one-time treatment like CRISPR Therapeutics CTX001, right? They're not gonna deny it, even if it's 2-3 million. They're not gonna do it because those patients cannot be cured to begin with, right? So it's something to think of. We'll see where we go from there, guys. I think this year is gonna be a really, really interesting year. I really hope we see more of Victoria Gray's case across, not just in US or in Canada, but all around the world, even in less developed nations, regions around the world. I'd love to see that, but hey, who knows, right? We'll see how it goes, guys. So I'll end this video like this, guys. Hopefully you guys appreciate this video. Like I said, I just wanted to make a quick video on this article. I think it was a well-published article. Shout out to Antonio here for covering this space. Again, thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, subscribe if you not, like this video if you have value, and let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you guys think about CRISPR 2.0? What do you guys think about this year, where we go from here? I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a beautiful, beautiful Sunday. Thank you.